Hi everyone, welcome to Push the Button. I'm your host, Don Mike.
And I'm Jeremy Ronceros.
And we are here with our friend Max
Spragovsky.
Spragovsky.
He literally practiced for 10 minutes about this Spragovsky, and I'm like, you're going to nail it, it's fine.
I'm famous for butchering names. Max
Don't worry.
Spragovsky.
There you go.
There you go. Now that I've said it, I'm not going to say it again.
Don't.
We're just gonna call you Max. So Max is the creator, artist, writer of WoofGalaxy, a new LGBT gay male comic. We're so excited. Look how wonderful this is. We'll get a close up of that in a minute. So Max, how did you come up with this concept?
I was always a big fan of comic books and anime. I grew up on anime, Sailor Moon and Pokemon. My first comic book was Spider-Man, actually.
Nice.
So I had a manga back in the college. I kind of like started doing it, and it was kind of like a next generation of Sailor Warriors with guys involved there, because in original concept there's no guys involved. But it never took off, and I just kind of like I was too busy with acting and whatever. Then I came here, tried to do acting, didn't work, but I always wanted to like create something. Always wanted to create something that would, I don't know, be interesting to me and to other people, just kind of show my world, what my world is like to other people. So it started as shirts, and then I decided just to give them more of a character and created a comic book. And I want to have more of that, because I think we lack of the whole equality, understanding that. So that is what my comic book is pretty much about. It's all how we equal and support and friendship and all that.
So in this world, I'm assuming is this in our future, or is this an alternative universe?
It's a kind of like, it's in a galaxy far, far away.
Okay.
So it's a very distant future. It's more of a like, I don't know, 3000, whatever. And it takes place in Scandinavian mythology universe. That it's way distant. You kind of, it's a mixture of different mythologies. It's a Celtic and Scandinavian and Arabic mythology there, a little bit of Greek. So it's kind of like a fusion of, but they are names like Niflheim and Helheim that would appear there in the comic. Yes.
Okay.
There's a connection.
Yeah. So you said that this is all about support, diversity, equality, all those types of things. How does that play into with the mythology?
It's a superhero comic book, like we all like, and they all have powers and stuff like that, but they are more than just superheroes. It's more about how we can connect to the character, and I had a person who came up to me, he's like, you know what, I read your comic book, and this character, it's so close to me. Like, it's exactly what I was going through in high school. All this, I have this ego that is like, I can't just, I started to like bully other people because I had issues. And that's what kind of, probably the biggest compliment that people can give me is that they can reflect the characters on themselves. And as you can, reflect, I really want people to show, through my comic book that we're all equal. We have our own problems, absolutely. But it's, we're still people. We're still same, it doesn't matter the race. Because in my comic book, there are different races. And I talk about like mermen, Valkyries, and there are inner conflicts there. But it's all how to find peace, between each other.
Now, growing up, I imagine you were a big comic nerd.
Yeah, I was. Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man was my first comic book that came out officially in Russia. And I was following it just like nonstop. And I was always a big fan of the art style. It was early 2000, and then X-Men came to the picture, and I just loved X-Men.
And did you find a big gay context in the comics you grew up with, or is it something you had to either project on or sort of search for between the lines?
I was always happy to get like the inside gay jokes. If there would be there, especially in X-Men, they would have a certain like when Wolverine is taking off his shirt, and I'm like, he's so hairy. I love that. The gay content was never really explicit in Russia. Never. You would get inside jokes, but because of the censorship, they would actually tone it down. Absolutely, almost nothing. So as you know, in Russia, it's anti-gay, and you really can't have any gay-related product. Otherwise, Marvel would be called propaganda, gay propaganda. So that's why they had to censor it.
Interesting.
So if I would go for gay comic books, which for my first gay comic book was Porky of Logan, and well, it's explicit comic book, but I absolutely loved it, and I loved his style a lot because it reminded me of the old style that I loved, and and it kind of pushed me drawing guys, because initially I was drawing only girls. Very skinny, very kind of like androgynous, like you can't even. Guys would be there in the comic book, but they were very androgynous, like because I had no idea what the muscle structure is. Yeah.
So how many characters are in the WoofGalaxy?
Initially I introduced 5 characters, but there's 6 now.
Okay.
Including General Dumbledore. Yes.
Okay. And who are each of the characters? And do they represent different facets of humanity, or?
Yes, I wanted to kind of, in the gay community, we all have bears and, muscle bears and daddies and otters. So I kind of want to bring each one to everybody, because initially when I created the t-shirt line, I wanted it to be for gay people, but for everybody. So this is the otter guy, this is the daddy guy, so they would be like, I thought about, it would be great. But then when it went into the comic book, I was sticking to that because I thought it would be really great if some otter guy, find Vic, for example, he's the ginger guy, he's an otter. So he's really, really hairy, and he's the skinniest out of them all, very ripped. And his name is Vikinger, is with R in the end. It's because he basically much represents the Celtic input in my comic book. Max is hi. I always wanted to have I actually initially have a character Max as a character with blue hair. I used to have blue hair, and I really want to put myself in the comic book. The reason, not because of my ego, but I kind of want to show that Max is the new girl in town, because he was introduced to the galaxy from somewhere different, which I'm not going to spoil, but he doesn't know much about the galaxy. Like I don't know. When I moved to the United States, I don't know much about it, so it's kind of a reflection of it. And he's a muscle cub.
Now, would you say that Max is the viewer's? He's basically the way that the viewer gets introduced to the galaxy.
Yeah,
that's
because he, his backstory is something that you can relate to. In some ways, I'm not going to say what his backstory because you'll see it. But in the first arc, you kind of understand where he came from and why is he there, and it's new to him. He never heard about this world or this realm or this. He's like, what is this? And he always questions. That's why he's kind of the reflection of the audience. Yeah.
Okay.
I could say that. Then Barais, he is Mediterranean Arabic kind of guy, and he kind of represents Muscle Daddy. I would say he has a little gray hair. Then Tyr is total daddy, white hair. And Coda, he is tallest and biggest out of them all, total muscle, like with a little belly. But he's like a very soft, like guy next door guy. He's such a softie. He's like a teddy bear. He actually is one of the characters that will never get super angry or whatever, although he controls fire element, I guess.
Oh, interesting. So the fire guy is the most controlled of all of them.
He's the softie out of them all. Yeah.
How interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we explore why that is and all this. Okay, that's actually really fascinating to me.
Actually, there's going to be a twist in the plot, and when I told my partner about it, which I ramble about it a lot. Okay, calm down. All right, I get it.
It's the hazards of being in a relationship
Yeah,
with a
we
writer.
were on a treadmill the other day, and I was like, you know what? And this happened. And this happened. He was like, okay, you're rambling. I get it. You live with that. You live with that every day. I'm just getting into the picture when you tell me about it. So I get it.
Does he realize he's probably going to end up being in the comic at some point?
He actually is in the comic.
Oh, is he?
Tyr is a reflection of him. He's the character. I wanted to give them the wisdom because my partner is very wise, and he helps and supports. He's like the biggest support of the team. Yes.
That's one thing about being either friends with or in a relationship with a writer is that you inadvertently always end up
in it some
somewhere.
way. Yeah.
So one thing we love to promote on the show is the idea of people getting outside of their comfort zone and thinking outside the box. And so being an artist and a writer and a musician, which we'll get to in a minute, what took you from the idea of I want to do this to doing it?
I just did it. It was one day when I woke up and I was like, I don't want to be just an artist. I want to be something else. And a friend of mine actually asked me, who are you? Are you an artist? What kind of artist? I'm like, well, I have t-shirts. I'm like, that's not enough. There's a lot of t-shirt artists. Who are you? So it made me think. And I woke up one day and I was like, you know what? I really want to create more than just a t-shirt. So and I just sat down and created a whole universe that reflects all my interests from childhood and now. And I just did it. Sat down and did it.
You put actor in scare quotes earlier in the interview. Was that something that you tried and walked away from, or?
You mean like actor?
You talked about your history with acting.
Yes, I actually, which is funny. My acting really helps me a lot because when I create, you should see me. I'm like a madman walking in the house. I actually do walk in the house, and I stage every single scene.
Oh, wow.
And then I cut it down to dialogue so you get in the comic book. And I know exactly how I want to see the emotions. So that's why a friend of mine said that when she read the comic book, she's like, the emotions there are very explicit. And it's amazing how you able to show the emotion. It's really important to me, like, acting really helps a lot because I would, like there's a scene in the comic book where Max and Vic are talking, and that Vic has his issues, and Max is there to support him, and I staged it, like myself right here.
I was like, you act out all the parts, or do you get a bunch of people together?
No, just myself.
I was gonna say because I want to see that. I want to know what you're doing. That's
psychotic. It's so psychotic. You're thinking like, because Tom see that, and he saw that one day, and I'm like, you must think that I'm a madman. He's like, no, I understand that it's part of the creative process. It's just funny to see.
Yeah.
To do it all yourself.
No, I think that's good though, because sometimes that emotional authenticity doesn't translate the way a writer and artist is intending to, and it's awesome that you had that background to tap into it because, like you were saying earlier about somebody connecting to it and telling you, I'm like, they're connecting because of the authenticity of it, and the fact that you dive into the characters and actually portray them to yourself. I'm like, I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, it's something I never would have guessed was a thing.
Really?
Or I'm like, I mean, I'm not an artist. Like, I just don't have that gene. So it's cool to me to kind of get a glimpse into that process because I just figured you just drew it. So it's cool that you live it a little bit.
I could totally sympathize with that because when I write, and when I never write in coffee shops or in restaurants because if I'm writing something really emotional, I will bawl my eyes out. I'm like, if I'm angry, I'm pounding the keyboard. Like I would hate for anyone to ever see me write.
My editor was always like, "What did you exactly? You know what? Your writing is just." Which I'm happy to have him because he helps me to tone it down in aspect of the comic book because you're acting it and you're writing in terms of acting, right? Because of huge monologues and it's understandable, but he helps me to shave it off. And, he said,
when you think if you're writing something, you have to realize a character is going to be drawn saying this.
Yeah.
So if you have 4 pages of text, it's like not going to be very visually.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We met through Facebook. It's a friend of mine who told me that I know a guy who is in the book industry, and I was like, okay, that's great. And he gave me the information, so we started chatting. We met over coffee, and I told him about my shirts. And he's like, oh, that's great. And I was at that point of my life where I just wanted to start the comic book. And he said, well, you can try it. So I explained him the idea. He's like, well, if you want some help, I have some experience in that. So sure. And that's how it rolled. That's how it started. And he is helping me till this day. Yeah.
And really, editors like a collaborator in a way because he really helps shape what you're doing.
Absolutely, because I don't think I would be able to do it myself, even though Tom helps me a lot with like, especially in the second issue there's a character who's a very much of a royalty, and I don't know anything about the royal language, nothing.
Yeah.
So he helps me to kind of like
So you're a musician.
I am, yes.
What's the name of your band?
Cross Rage, starting with X. It's XROSS.
Oh, for a second I thought the whole name Crossrage starting with X. That was
No.
a lot on a
It's
CV.
a long of a name,
Kind of
but
big name. No, it's Cross Rage. Right?
And what style of music?
It's a fusion of rock, rap, and metal.
Nice.
And I'm the one who does vocals and singing and composing most of it. And I have a rapper, and he's amazing. I can't do anything like he does. I know kind of how to rap, but just more of a like narrative talk.
Are you guys on YouTube? You have a YouTube channel?
We do have a YouTube channel, yes. We just I recently uploaded our medley of that, so you can YouTube it. It's Cross Rage, and you'll see it's one of the first things. And we have a Facebook page as well, which I just assigned a friend of mine he's actually a friend of my rapper who is going to run the Facebook page.
Oh,
So,
great.
yeah.
We'll put the links on
Absolutely.
under the show.
yeah.
And now you have decided to take your musical abilities and create something new for WoofGalaxy.
Yeah, I decided to. A friend of mine came to me at the bar, and I haven't seen him in a long time. And he's a great musician. He's a producer as well. So he's like, you know what? I really looking at this stuff, and I was like, have you ever thought about creating something for your fans? Like to kind of show what the world is, because visuals are great and it's fantastic, but what about your music abilities, because you compose, right? And like yeah, and actually never thought about it. So he's like, why don't you just give people what the music is, what the sound of the WoofGalaxy is? It will bring more of the atmosphere. And I thought it was such a brilliant idea. I didn't think about it. I have some instrumental tracks that I would love to be featured in like TV series, because I think I really want WoofGalaxy to be taking a step up as a TV series. So I have some instrumental tracks that are composed under the influence of what I was going through, and absolutely would love that to be featured in the TV series. So yeah, and then he offered, he suggested to do something like that. I'm like, yeah, I think I should really look into that. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So how are you getting WoofGalaxy out there? How are you promoting it? Do you have events? Do you go to cons? Like, what do you do?
I started at the Bullet.
What's the Bullet? For our viewers who might not be,
It's the gay bar in LA. It's very great and divey. It's very chill. Out of all bars that have been in LA, it's really chill, and people there are great.
Yeah.
People there are really great and friendly. I used to work there as a bartender, and then I quit actually for this, because I was at that time of my life, I really wanted to do something else, something that bigger. I really just wanted to create and focus on creativity. So, and when I quit, I left on good terms, and I just said, like, it's time for me to do something else. And when I created this and the shirts, I asked the owner, can I do that at the bar? And he was like, absolutely, yeah, you're welcome to do that. So then the comic book started, and I started doing other bars as well. I do Precinct, I do Oil Can Harry's now, and my first event at the Eagle is coming up.
Oh, great.
Lumberjack, August 5th. Yeah.
Oh, very
I was
nice.
invited, and the creator of that event, he was like, I saw your shirt, and the guy came up to me because he had your shirt, and he asked, like, can he do something here? Because I asked him to.
Well, Lumberjack is sort of a night for bears and that whole Lumberjack
Yeah.
theme. So I think I can totally see your characters.
And actually offered my help because they have an anniversary coming up in September. I'm like, how about if I draw you a poster?
Great.
Oh,
Like,
that's awesome.
I would be honored. I'm like, I'll be
Yeah.
more free after Comic-Con, which I'm going to Comic-Con next week.
Nice. Do you have a booth, or are you just going to be?
I am with Prism Comics now.
And Prism is a gay comic.
Yes, they're LGBT.
publisher.
Yeah, they're not publisher. They're more of like supporter.
Okay.
Okay.
But they do organize the events and to promote LGBT comics.
Yeah.
Great.
Which I'm like super honored to be.
So your fans can meet you at in person at Comic-Con. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I missed your event at the Bullet.
Yes,
I
there was
really
an
wish I
event.
could have been there.
Do you want to take a look?
Can we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. I think he
Why
should
don't you
do
do the honors?
Sure thing.
Putting up a gun to the head of an innocent, you're not thinking twice, no excuse, no suffice. But I believe the fate of humankind shines through in every one of us that decides to stand together at the bottom of the pillars. Shoot and fight inside rebellion. Stand together at the bottom of the pillars. Will you stand with me? Shake the feelings up that blinds us. Shake the rigid bonds above us. No longer will we fear myself. As I stand triumphant at the top by myself. Looking out and looking down, I feel like agony. Ruined by the ruins, the animal got the best of me. Swallow my attack to shut you up. Soon one metal swallow my attack to shut you up. Soon one metal swallow my attack to shut you up.
Wasn't that fun?
That was fun.
We had such a
that
great
was
time
great.
that night.
Yeah,
and that was actually your music from Cross Rage at the event. How cool is that?
Thank you.
That's
you. Yeah.
awesome. I love when art styles and everything kind of come together and create something bigger like that.
Yeah, it's a great fusion. It's
Yeah.
And what's the audience reaction been like for people coming into the bars and seeing your table?
They loved it. I had a person who drove all the way from Anaheim just to see me, and I was like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And here he's like, I really love your comic book. I at that time I didn't have a printed copy, and he's like, I really want to get your printed copy. And actually he's like a big comic book nerd, so he's like, whatever you created, it's amazing. So I got a really great response from other people. And
Now there's a printed version of your comic right here.
Right here, yeah.
Strangely enough, if somebody were to want to purchase one of your comics, how would they go about getting it?
They go to my website, WoofGalaxy.com. Simple as that.
Right here, under the video.
And you purchase that. There's a digital version. It's available for $6, and printed copy is going to be available after the Comic-Con.
Okay.
I'm really happy with. I understand.
I have my hands on it right here.
I know, right?
You see it? Am I in frame?
Yeah, you saw it
This
here
way?
first.
So, yeah.
No, I think it's great. And one of the things, looking at this, I'm like, the visuals are just so beautiful and so graphic, and the colors are so vibrant. What was the inspiration behind such a vivid universe?
I always loved what was really lacking in the original, like in the comics, that the standard colors, and they're kind of like a little bit dull and grayish, which my comic book it's a mixture of really fun and comic and with dark stuff in there, but I really wanted that to be more of colorful. Really we need more colors in our life.
Yeah.
So actually when I was drawing it, I had no idea that would turn out this vibrant. I just was going with the flow and whatever I thought I would like.
Yeah.
So
It really is. I mean, it's really gorgeous. I mean, we'll do like a little cutaway, but it really, I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful.
thank you. Thank you.
And I like how all the characters have really. I have a thing for hair, and I love that your characters all have really cool like haircuts, mohawks,
Actually,
and stuff.
They will evolve.
Yeah.
One of the things that I could never understand in the comic books is character grows, he never changes. And I mean, it's in terms of like, it's recognizable for everybody. I understand that. But you can change, like Peter Parker's hair at least or something, and he did, but the character should, develop. The character should grow. He should age. He should, unless he's like immortal, whatever. So it's, I think that you should grow with the character. Like with music, I grew up listening to Linkin Park, and I grew up with Linkin Park. So their music evolved, and I evolved with them.
Yeah.
That's what we kind of do in our band as well. So we have hardcore songs and we have melodic songs. It's all that how you. We basically write music about something what we love and we care about right now. So same thing with comic book, and yeah. I actually have to mention that thanks to Fight Magazine, I was published there. I got a big exposure at my event. They were like, "Oh my God, I've seen your page in the Fight Magazine," and I was like, "Yeah, I have my issue," and I was very, very happy. It was a great surprise for my birthday. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wonderful.
I always assumed that they put that publishers for Marvel and DC, they put their characters on that sliding time scale so that they could keep selling. Does that mean that you have a conclusion in mind for your characters then? Like you see a time when their story is done? If you have them age and stuff?
I think that it's for some characters, yes. I have plans for 3 arcs. The second arc, I already know what it's going to be about. The third, I think that's what I want to kind of go deeper in terms of like each characterization thing like that.
Yeah.
You have a story to tell. You're not just stringing.
Yes, actually, I have a whole story about each one of the characters to the point of the third arc. I know exactly how it's going to change and what's going to happen. Yeah.
So do you have any advice for, say, your, I don't want to say just for your young readers, but for all of your readers out there who are discovering you for the first time, as you're new to this, what's your overall message? What do you want to get across for them?
In terms of like the comic book and
it just in life in general. Like,
I
you
would
have
say,
like a
you know
message
what?
you could give to somebody.
I would always say, have courage and be kind. Never give up on your dreams. Always believe in yourself, because nobody else will. You're the only people can tell you that, but you really have to rely on yourself. I would say, you know what? It's hard. Life is hard. Nobody said it's going to be easy, but that's what makes you you. Your past brought you to the present. That's who you are right here, right now, and just keep going. If you want to do, business, do business. If you want to, never listen to anybody. I didn't. I never did. I did my life. I started acting. I was this little rainbow kid. I want to do acting. I did. Didn't work out for me. It was my mistake. It was my lesson that I had to learn. I got really actually disappointed in acting in general. Did music. I'm self-taught in everything. Self-taught. I never took any classes for drawing, music, composing, mixing. Not all self-taught. So everybody have that in you. So just go with it.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Any final thoughts?
Well, I want to thank you very much for letting us into your world, into your galaxy.
Thank you.
I was not familiar with any of it before really meeting you, and I had seen you out and about. I mean, I know who you were, but it's so cool when you get to really dive into somebody else's world and see what they're doing, because realistically, I never would have known this stuff about you. Just seeing you at a bar, seeing you out and about. So thank you very much for letting me in and giving us the opportunity to kind of see the inner workings of WoofGalaxy. I'm
Sure.
really excited to follow it. I'm excited. I'm going to be getting a comic book and everything.
Nice.
So thank you for that.
Thank you
I
so much,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Thank you.
So-
Oh, and I did want to plug your t-shirts also. In addition to your comic books, I am proudly sporting Woof Galaxy t-shirt. And yours as well.
Yes.
You have a whole line on your website.
Yes, I do have a new one that is coming up special for Comic-Con.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Very cool. And what is the name of your website?
It's WoofGalaxy.com.
Oh, super easy.
Super
okay.
easy.
Down here.
Well, you probably could have guessed that.
Can I tell them how we met?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Max and I, through a mutual friend, I mean, I'd seen you at the bar when you worked at the Bullet. So through a mutual friend, was filming a safer sex PSA, and asked if we would help. And it was the Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you even heard the story. It was the Lord of the Rings PSA commercial. And at one point, I was playing one of the hobbits, and I was holding up the ring to Gandalf. And in order to do like a forced perspective, I was on my knees, and Max was my feet. He had his feet under my body. So from the forced perspective, it looked like his feet were coming out of my knees. And it was a great shot. It looked amazing.
Shot, yeah.
But then I hand get off the ring, and then you wiggled your toes.
Yes.
I gotta find if that's online. If it's online, I'll link to the show.
I'm sure Sean has the.
I'm sure it's here somewhere.
Yeah.
But, oh
I've
my
seen
God.
it. I've seen it online, so I know it's somewhere.
It's funny. It was really
But it was a
funny.
ring. It was a condom.
Yeah, it was a
or
condom.
something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it was a condom. Yeah.
That's funny.
So you were my stunt feet.
Yes, it was a stunt feed. It was so
I
funny.
met Max and the rest is history.
That's gonna be your tagline.
There's actually pretty. It's a
Maximus
great-
Spragovsky,
Yeah.
stunt feet.
Artist, musician, writer, stunt feet.
I actually wiggle my toes too. So yeah.
And if you have a foot fetish,
Yeah.
he's got beautiful feet. I'm just saying. All right. So thank you so much for letting us into your realm, your galaxy.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank
and
you guys.
good luck on Comic-Con. And you're going to be performing at Valley Pride Street Fair. And someone we all know and love is also one of the MCs for this Valley Pride Street Fair coming up August 12th. Burbank Boulevard, North Hollywood. And you're going to be performing.
And my booth is going to be there as well.
And you're gonna have
with
WoofGalaxy
t-shirts
there.
and WoofGalaxy as well.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So if you're in LA,
Wonderful.
come down to the Valley Pride Street Fair. And wonderful. What's next for you? Comic-Con?
Comic-Con is next for me. After that, I'm back, and I'm going to finish my second issue because I'd like to actually finish it before the Pride.
Nice.
To develop, yeah, because I kind of wanted, people to be. I have people who are already demanding.
Yeah.
We want to have second issue. We want to know what's happening next. It's amazing. It's the best compliment I could get. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
you guys.
And we'll
Thank
see you
you.
guys next time on Push the Button. And you know what? Why don't you get us out of here?
1, 2.
Nice. We have cats. We have cats.
He's a Siamese and he likes to talk. So yeah.
I totally thought that was a child outside, and you snapped at it. I'm like, oh my god! I hope it's a neighborhood child that you know.
You can pet him if you want.
I mean, is that what he wants? Or
He just wants attention. He likes attention. He is a.
Don't we
attention
all,
whore.
really?
Yeah,
I know.
I know. We all put that back. Yeah.